A lot of reports have come out today, and these are very important and they're very big. But let's go ahead and get started first with a post by Brad Garlinghouse, the CEO of Ripple, who goes on to say that the quote anti crypto army was defeated by the courts, by the voters, and by Trump. It never made policy, legal, or political sense. Combating financial innovation only helped protect those that wanted to keep an old, often broken system in place. I am looking forward to the Clarity Act. I do think that Gary Gensler was not helpful to the industry space and was very much targeting it. It seemed like they were targeting XRP and Ripple. As far as for Trump himself, of him defeating the anti crypto army, I don't know about that. Let's go ahead and continue on in the news. Bitcoin Fear and Greed Index is 22, sitting at extreme fear. So this has dropped down a bit. It was at about 28 yesterday. Now it's down to 22. Fairly substantial when we take into consideration that recently we haven't really been seeing it move much around that 25 position, maybe dropping up or climbing up, I should say, to around 28 or so. But yeah, sitting at 22, we're not in a great position. Extreme fear territory. And let's go ahead and take a look at what's going on with Bitcoin's price. This is on a day chart. We are sitting at under $73,000. So yes, we have been below $75,000 now on a daily candle closure, which was yesterday. And then on the new day formation, seeing a pretty substantial drop down to about $72,444. And then we also take a look at this. The volume on the day is almost as much as all the volume that took place yesterday, which means that we might be on track to seeing levels of volume comparable to that of May 26th or possibly even on May 18th, and which would be very substantial, would be on May 14th. I don't think we'll necessarily hit that unless there's some other major news. There are some big things to take into consideration. So yes, it is a very big news day. And when we take a look at Bitcoin, just zooming out a tad bit more here, you can also see that we did have a nice high position when it started to climb up off of the 3-day candle here back on May 10th. After that, we essentially just saw these series of drops. 3 red candles, 1 green. 5 red candles, 2 green. And then a red, 3 green. Trying to make it a little bit of a recovery, almost looking like it's trying to retest this zone at $78,163, which is on the Fibonacci retracement zone. That is a very important psychological line, and didn't really manage to get through that, ended up dropping down. What's also interesting is that very close to that, you can see the median line of the Bollinger Band. It actually broke above that level crossover there for the Fibonacci retracement. That was back here right around May 8th, and then dropped down below on May 27th. And the day before that is when we saw that rejection take place. And the Bollinger Band itself is almost parallel on the top and bottom bands. It is looking like it's diverging a tad bit here. Volume is starting to increase over the more recent days. And a lot of people are going to be keeping an eye on whether or not Bitcoin can manage to reclaim $75,000, or if it drops down. A really low point right now is the next Fibonacci zone, which would be sitting at about $63,000. Moving on to other news. The United States and Iran reached deal but need Trump's final approval, officials say. So there's no official deal in place as of the time of me recording this video. This is for a ceasefire, I should make that clear. And we're waiting for the upper leaders to make the final decisions. This mentions in regards to Trump's final approval. I believe that you also need the top approval over in Iran, but lower levels look like they've worked out something that could possibly be okay. But we have to wait and see how actually things play out. And tensions have actually been on the rise as things have been escalated and attacks have taken place from both sides. And from Ash Crypto, insane pump, $450 billion added to the U.S. stock market in just 20 minutes after the U.S. and Iran reached a deal pending Trump's approval. And also, U.S. initial jobless claims. What was expected was 211,000 jobless claims. We actually got 215,000 jobless claims. So it's even worse. And April, PCE inflation, the Fed's preferred inflation measure, rises to 3.8%, the highest since May of 2023. Core PCE inflation rises to 3.3%, the highest since October 2023. The Fed's top inflation metric is nearly double their target. Inflation is back in full swing. Core PCE came in at 0.2%. It was expected to be 0.3%. New data reveals inflation just skyrocketed to 3.8% in April, the highest level in 3 years, as I just mentioned. And the first quarter GDP for the US, second estimate, came in at 1.6. People are expecting it at 2%. The US economy growth is slowing down. So essentially, inflation going up, the US economy's growth going down, and jobless going up. More people losing jobs. It's not a great formula right there. But stocks are doing amazing, right? MasterCard secures New York BIT license with Ripple among its key partners. And there's a $2.26 billion liquidation magnet sitting above XRP right now. The price has been grinding down from $1.48 to $1.30 all week, but that yellow band between $1.34 and $1.40 isn't going anywhere. When price sweeps that zone, it won't be slow. So yeah, if you don't have a lot of liquidity on there and some whales decide to make some moves, it's going to make a major splash. Hopefully on the good side. David Schwartz floats XRP staking model. Former Ripple CTO David Schwartz outlined a hypothetical XRP staking structure designed to reduce potential IRS tax burdens. Schwartz argued taxation should depend on whether staking rewards already existed or are newly created through the staking process itself. He said taxing newly minted rewards before sale could amount to regulatory overreach. New XRP data analysis. This is with Evernorth. By current size, XRP ranks number 11 in tokenized real-world asset value and number 5 by market cap. By the growth and velocity metrics we looked at, XRP sits in the top tier. The rankings reflect yesterday's market. The data shows where recent activity has concentrated. This content is for informational purposes only and does not constitute investment advice. All right. Ripple partner SBI Holdings is part of the 40-plus firms shaping Project Agora. BlackRock just deposited over $500 million worth of Bitcoin to Coinbase Prime. And before we take a look at the XRP price chart, I just want to tell you a little bit about the crypto exchange BTCC. It has been around for 13 years. You get access to over 300 crypto futures, up to 250x leverage, no VPN or KYC required to get started, and you can get bonuses all the way up to $10,055. That's when you get a 10% deposit bonus as well, which is included there. And that is if you deposit over $500 of USDT. So if you want to look into this or if you want to get started, you can find that link down in the description below. Now, taking a look at XRP's price chart, it is in a tumble. We have 4 days of candle closure, all in the red, although we do see back here on May 25th, almost a flat line, slightly in the red, but still a red candle. And now we have 1, 2, 3, 4 days of red. That trend formation of 3 being a strong trend right there. 4th day still dropped down, and then lo and behold, what did we see? An even further drop down to $1.26 before it decided it wanted to bounce back up here, trying to recover a tad bit. The volume itself close to what we had yesterday. This is similar to what we saw with Bitcoin. There was a lot of volume that took place back on May 26th, and you can see at one point it was green. It did break above this bottom level of the triangle formation that I had drawn right here, but got rejected, came down. Next thing you know, we're seeing it further tumble down. And the Bollinger Band is widening on Ripple. So there is a strong possibility that we could see some very strong price movement swings taking place here. And hopefully it makes a nice strong rally back up here, pushing back to it around $1.40. I would expect to see some resistance around $1.36 before then. And as it is right now, looking at a bottom level of support of about $1.26. So that's what I got for you guys in today's video. Thank you so much to my Patreon supporters and my YouTube members. And you guys are absolutely amazing. I hope you guys have a great day. Be safe. God bless. And we'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.